Hey guys, Cleanblade here, bringing you the Pokemon TCG Online deck profile today, and today we're going to be looking into Shaymin-ex Trevenant with Forest Curse. It just shuts down items from your opponent as long as it's your active Pokemon. So of course we're going to be running Float Stone and using Shaymin as their attacker with lasers and Verbanks and stuff like that. We just really want to, it's kind of like Toad essentially, except we can do it first turn because we do run Wally in the deck. It's one of the few decks that I feel like can get away with Wally in their deck. I don't think Wally is a particularly great card, but in this deck, it's pretty much an MVP. I think it's a really strong card in this deck. To be able to open up Phantom Trevenant turn 1 with a Shaymin is pretty absurd. You can lock people before Toad locks, essentially. So you can go first. You don't even have to attack, and you can just lock them instantly. So Trevenant is going to be the MVP of this deck, along with the Shaymin-ex with the setup ability, because it only requires a DCE to attack. It does 30 damage. With the Muscle Band, it does 50, and then with a Laser, it does 80 damage a turn, which is kind of a lot for just a DCE. So that is really nice. It's like Toad hitting, except it's not Toad, and we get to draw off its ability, so that's even better overall. So let's just jump straight into the deck profile. We'll go over some choices that I've made, stuff like that. So, of course, we're running 4 Shaymin-ex. We really need this card in this deck. It gives us a lot of draw support. We don't run a lot of draw support because we do run 4 Shaymin, and we can usually get out 4 Shaymin pretty easily. Does 30 damage, returns back to your hand, then you can replace it, get the Bianca effect with the setup ability. So, it's just a really good card. Then we're running 1 Jirachi. I felt that 1 Jirachi can be pretty nice sometimes. You open up, let's say, a Shaymin, a Jirachi, Laser, Verbank, stuff like that. You can just go Jirachi, Wally, play Wally, Laser, Verbank, Shaymin, DCE attack, if you get what I'm saying. It's just really good. So, the Wally allows us to get out the Trevenants, of course, really fast, turn 1. It's a really big necessity, so that's why I run the 1 Jirachi. So then we're running 4 Phantom. I don't think it matters what Phantom you run. Okay, well, there's only 1 Phantom to run, so we just run 4 of them. It's not that great of a baby Pokemon, but its evolution is the monster of the deck. The Item Lock, Forest Curse. This is the true MVP of the deck. Item Lock, can't play any item cards from his or her hands. Has an attack Tree Slam, does 60 damage once I get 1 colorless. Occasionally you might use it. It can get you a win occasionally. But the biggest thing here is that it does resist the fighting. So, Donphan, Landorus kind of have a bad matchup against this deck. We resist fighting on everything. Even Shaymin-ex resists fighting. We do have a dark weakness, which makes Yveltal a little bit hard. We have a lightning weakness, makes Manectric a little bit hard. Certain Lysanders, stuff like that. But usually it doesn't matter whatsoever. So, jumping into the item cards, we are running 1 Computer Search. Computer Search is the best searcher in the game right now. It's like Ultra Ball, but better. So why not run it? Just grab any card, discard 2. Then we're running 4 Crushing Hammers. I feel like Crushing Hammer is really strong in this deck. Just to be able to slow down your opponent, discard their energies, and we are running Headringers, and then make them cost more energies to attack. Is just obscenely good right now in this format. If Trump card was unbanned, I think this deck would be pretty good, but it's never going to become unbanned, so no reason to even think about that. I think the deck is pretty good overall. It would be better if Trump card was unbanned, though, just saying. So, we're also running 1 Enhanced Hammer just to get rid of other DCE players, such as Toad, stuff like that. We Headringer, Toad, DCE, Enhanced Hammer the Toad, turn 2, stuff like that. It's pretty basic. Then we're running 4 Lasers. Laser is essentially half our damage in this deck, so why not run it? The Lasers are obscenely good. Laser Verbank is really good. You kind of have to run it into this deck. If you don't have Laser Verbank, I do not suggest you run this deck. I think this deck is pretty bad without Laser Verbank, in my opinion. So, there's that. Then we're running 4 Trainer's Mail. Trainer's Mail is just a godsend card. There's really no replace for it. It's kind of a staple. Trainer's Mail is just one of those cards super duper good. Once you get a Trainer's Mail out, you're pretty much gonna get an Ultra Ball or Sycamore or Shaymin or something like that. So, you're just pretty much standard to get Trainer's Mail. And yes, I said it's Shaymin because you can get another Ultra Ball, go discard 2, get Shaymin, etc. It's just It's pretty standard. You could even get a Trainer's Mail for a Wally or Shadow Triad, which I do run one Shadow Triad. I'll explain that later, essentially. But onwards, after Trainer's Mail, we're running 4 Ultra Ball. Pretty standard, just search your deck for Shaymins after discarding 2 cards, and Trevenants, and Phantoms, and Jirachis, and all that stuff. Ultra Ball is just a really great card. Then we run 4 VS Seeker. The 4 VS Seeker is really, really, really good in this deck. We don't run many supporters, but the supporters that we do run, we like to refresh them. So why not? The one N tech that we have in here, for instance, can prevent us from decking out multiple times in a row, because this deck can kind of take a while to kill your opponent, because we are only doing 80 damage a turn, and there are switches and Lysanders and stuff like that. So VS Seeker is MVP in this deck. Moving on, we are running 1 Lysander. Lysander just wins games. You just kind of have to run it. Lysander wins games, so we run it. Then we're running the 1N. You could run 2. I think 1's fine. I don't think you need to use it that much. We have 4 Shaymins in the deck, and really that's all the real draw power we actually need. So we just run the 1N. Then we're running 2 Sycamore. Occasionally you need to Sycamore hands away that you don't want to Sycamore hands away, just because you need a gun to go turbo. Though this deck does like to play a slower format, but you can have the potential to go turbo every turn if you really wanted to, and if you drew well. So keep that in mind. Then we're running 1 Shadow Triad. Shadow Triad is specifically for lasers. We get 5 lasers without having VS Seekers. And then with VS Seekers, we have the potential to have 9 lasers in a game, which is just really, really, really good. So we just run the 1, though. I think sometimes it can be bad, sometimes it can be good. It really depends on how many lasers you actually go through, so keep that in mind. Then onto probably the best supporter in this deck would be Wally. I think Wally is probably the best supporter in this deck, just because it allows you to get Trevenant out really first turn, and then continue to set up with Shaymins and stuff like that. So I personally think Wally is the best supporter in this deck. Why not run it? We run 3 of them. I think it's a necessity to run either 2 or 3. Really your opinion on what you want to run. I run 3, just personal preference. Then we're running 4 Verbank City Gym to go along with the laser. It does an extra 2 damage counters on poison. So now we're doing 30 instead of 10. Essentially, Verbank is a really good stadium. We're going to miss it when it rotates out competitively, even though it kind of makes games RNGesus, because, you know, laser heads asleep, you stay asleep with the tails, and then you take an extra 30 damage, and all of a sudden you're losing because of random coin flips, if that makes sense. But it's really good. So we are running 4 Verbank. Then we're running 3 Floatstones for the Trevenants. We attach a Floatstone, get a free retreat, go back into a Shaymin, attack with Shaymin, pick it back up, promote the Trevenant again, and bam, they're item locked all over again, and they're going to just continue there until they can kill your Trevenant, and then hopefully you have a backup Trevenant to replace it, and then you can kill that one with the Shaymins and the lasers and stuff like that. So this deck is essentially a lock deck with Floatstone. Moving on, we're running 2 Muscle Band, makes your Shaymin do 50 damage. Not much more needs to be said about this. We're running 2 Headringer. Headringer is just really, 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 really good in this deck. No substitute for it, I don't think. Headringer is just one of those things. It's really good against Toad. I mean, you could use Jamming Nut, but it's not the same. Toad can still item lock you turn 1 instead of turn 2. They have to play like AZ or something to get rid of this Headringer turn 1. So I just think it's really, really, really good in this deck. I think you should run 2. If you don't run 2, I don't know what you're going to replace it with, but I'm sure you guys are crafty and can replace it. So we're just going to move on to the energies. We're running 4 DCE. This is just for Shaymin. Essentially, occasionally they attack with Trevenant, but that's about it. And then we're running 2 Mystery Energy. This way, just in case if we never draw a Floatstones turn 1, we can just attach a Mystery Energy turn 1 to a Trevenant, gives it free retreat. So why not? I mean, actually it doesn't give it free retreat, it gives it 1 retreat, which then you can retreat it by removing the energy. Plus it allows you to attack with Trevenant, which can be pretty nice, so you want to keep that in mind. So I want to thank you guys all for watching this video today. I know a lot of people are watching me play this on stream earlier today, so shout outs to everybody who came out and over. Thank you to like the 20 of you who came over and watched me play. And just for the people who don't know, I start streaming at 11 a.m. Central Time, and we stream from anywhere to like 2 to 4-ish Central Time, so come check me out. We stream every day, twitch.tv/Cleanblade. So come check us out, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you guys didn't, hit the dislike. Type out a comment. Tell me what you didn't like about it. And well, yeah, I'll try and see if I can fix it in the future. And thank you guys so much. Have a great day, guys. Peace out.